Okay, and we're back. So we're gonna move on to here, and let's do this. Let's take this unwrap and put it on here. Now we've got it only half done. I didn't do both sides. It's very important you understand there's only half done, because really this is the final shape that I need to focus on, because the mirrored side of this is totally fine if they're mirrored, especially the blades. So let's take a look at what we got. Go back to the front, pull back out. All right, so what we have, if you look at the sword, is the sword side here, and if I click up here, and I'm going to put this on and go to edge mode, okay, because really what we want to look at is the edge. And anyway, so I grab this, and look, it's backwards. That doesn't seem right. So if I move this over and I look at this one, it's correct. So it means I need to turn this one around. Basically, I need to push this little mirror button. It'll flip it. And then instead of going back to any other mode, I'm just going to double click on this edge, because Max allows us just to grab that edge. Then I'm going to do the stitch, and it'll stitch those two together perfectly. Now this one is the same way. I'm going to move it out of the way. That's that side. This side is this one, and obviously it's backwards if you remember where the blue was. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to double click on it and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm used to doing it that way, that. Okay, I'm going to click this one, drag it over here. Obviously that's this one, so this side should be blue, and this one. But, okay, so let's take a look at this one. Why is this side, if this is this blade, you would think this side would be blue, because the blue means it's connected to another polygon, which would mean this one's correct, right? But it's not. So what's going on? How's that working? Well, let's take a look at this one again. And if we can see the blue where it's supposed to connect, we can also see where it's supposed to connect on the top. We can see both here and here, which makes sense. It's this one and this one. Let me do this here. So let's see something here. Let's double click on this one. Actually, let's double click on this one, and we'll see that's the top. Well, if this is the top of the edge, right here, you see how it leans there, then this has to be the bottom, because that one would attach to that one. So we're gonna flip it one, not that way. We're gonna grab the whole thing, and we're gonna doop doop one time. Now this is facing the wrong way too. It's upside down, so we need to do that one this way. And then when we flip it, it'll be right. So, you know, if you could have left it the other way, but it'll bite us in the butt in the end, is the point. You're going to have something that, like if you had writing up and down the sword, and you had one of these facing upside down and one of these facing right side up, then when you wrote it, it would flip the words. Okay, so we have one more. This one here. Move it over. And obviously, again, it looks like this should be the top or the bottom, but it's the top. So that's not right. So we're just going to do this. And we can't just turn the other one around, because that means that this bottom needs to be up here at the top. And when we do that, I'll show you. One, two, not that. I do that. If I grab this one now, you'll see, oh, it's being a jerk, but you'll see it's this face. So I need to double click, or not double click, just turn that one over, double click on this one, and do stitch. Okay, so now I've got those all set up and ready to go. So now I've got blades fully side. Now I don't think people are going to notice if both sides are the same, and if they are, then you need to spend more time on that kind of blade. But in this case, we don't have to worry about it, because I know I'm not going to look at both sides of the blades and look for problems. Okay, so we've got the grain going correctly. We've got the mirrored part here. What about this one? Well, if we look at this one, it's actually the same as this one. I actually am going to leave these the same. The only thing that's going to happen is that this one is going to be mirrored of the other one. So meaning that, okay, so this edge is backwards, actually. Yeah, this one is flipped again. Not a big deal. You can just leave it. Okay, in this case, I'm going to take this one, move it over here. Oops. Move it over here. Oh, come on. Move it over here, because this is that center piece. It's facing the wrong direction, and it's upside down again. So how do you stop it from being upside down? You just be more careful. So that should be at the bottom, but it's at the top. I mean, that should be at the bottom, but it's at the top, yeah. So I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to do punk punk, and then I'm going to click this one, because I know I have to do one, I have to do it to the other. And then for the one that's on the wrong side, I flip it. and I move it over here, and then I just double click this edge and say collapse it. Okay, here's another one. We're going to get as much of this stuff done as possible because the final position of all these is what we want. So I'm going to look at this one. That's the right side. And this one looks like it's facing the wrong direction. So that means all we have to do in this one is do the mirror. And then I'm going to turn this one a little bit and double click on this and do a stitch. Okay. Come back to this one. I got some issues here, but we'll get to that. Let me figure out what's going on there after I put it together. So this one is upside down because it looks like this one, that edge I've grabbed, should be at the top, but it's at the bottom. So you just grab it again, do a click, click, it's upside down, and do the same to the other side, click, click. And then we just have to mirror this one because it's the one that's the new version of it. And then we double click, double click, double click. I'm trying to do as many of these as possible. I can't do it that way. I have to turn off the, because I did something else earlier to this that I cleaned up, but then I left a little bit of a mess in the UVs, and we'll fix that. Okay, then I do stitch. Okay, and if I hide this stuff, like peel I never use. So now I have that, and we can come back and clean that up in a minute. Let's see, what else do we have? We can move these out. We can move these once we get this turned back on. Move these out of the way, move this out of the way. And then we'll look at this one and move it out of the way. And we'll look at this one and we'll see. This one should be easy to tell because we have this lip. That means that's the bottom under here. So we know that it's upside down just by looking at it. So we're going to go ahead and flip it twice, which means we have to flip this one twice, and then we have to mirror it. And then if I come over to this edge, it should be to there, and then I just go stitch and it puts it there for me. I don't know if I'm going to do this one. I can do both of these, but let's look at this right here. This one, it's not a big deal to do it, so you might as well, because you could see the top of the blade. So turn it sideways, turn it sideways. Sorry, I'm trying to think here. So if I turned it sideways like this, so kind of facing the same way. This one is facing the wrong direction, so I'd flip it. And then I grab this one, and if I turn it that way, and just move it over here and double click on this edge, oops, and it's gonna do that for me, of course. Grab this edge and just say, stitch. It'll stitch that piece to it, okay. So I've got that one done. How about these guys? What are we looking at over here? Oops. Okay. That one is fine by itself for now. These are all kind of fine by themselves, except when, yeah, I don't mind these being by themselves, but when I do the other side, I might want to attach this to that. Okay, so that's fine for now. What is this? This is that. We have 1/2. These are okay to be separate. Okay, what about this? This one needs to be fixed. So if I move this over, and I move this over, and I see that's facing the right way and this is facing the wrong way, and if we know anything, we know that when the flipped one's facing the right way, then there's a problem. So I just flipped them both, or I just rotated them both and then flipped this one. Then I double click on this and say stitch. Okay, what else do we got? What's this? That's that problem I had before. I'm going to move it out of the way and deal with it later. I think that's also the spike. Spike is fine the way it is. And that's another one. Okay, I'll deal with that off camera. Let's see. What's this one? That one's fine. Okay. So all I'm looking for is center line stuff that touch. Once I have all that set, then we're good to go. So I'm gonna grab all this, and this is close to the final size everything's gonna be when I say tools and I say pack UVs, and I don't want to rotate because remember they're all the right direction. I can try and fill holes and say okay. Now look how tight that is right there. That's nice and tight. These guys may be doubled up because I'm only seeing half of them here, and the mirror may be a problem, but I might wait to see what it looks like in the textures. But I have tons of clean, I mean, it's really tightly packed, and that's what you want to see. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. You want to see this stuff super tightly packed. So right now we're looking at this. This is this is the padding that if you go to that tool again, we'll look at it real quick. That means it's 0.0001 padding. You can probably turn that to 0.1 and be safe. And select everything. So I select everything except for those. Tool, pack UVs. I'm going to change this to 0.1 and see what we get. It's a little bit different, but you see all the border stuff. You want to give yourself some room for border. Okay, that's part of the thing. And like if this is too close, then you can move it. There's plenty of places. It's like a jigsaw puzzle to put stuff. I can put it up here. Sometimes I like to put the similar stuff in the similar place. So like, okay, so now if I go ahead and take this and close it and collapse it to an editable poly, and then I do my symmetry, and for the back this time, I'm done. Okay, I'm not going to do the other side. If I had to, I could, sure. But this unwrap, I'm going to put it right on top here. This unwrap does the job I needed to. This blade is fully separated inside of here, but both sides match. That's totally fine. This doesn't matter at all. Okay, so that's all we're looking for. Something as neatly packed as you can get it. This guy, I will just go, oops. This guy, I will just go grab and put him on top of him. You know, something like that. That's not a problem. Like I said, these actually go to those pieces, and I need to fix it, and I will. The spike you can throw anywhere, but you can see that these are the right size. I can just pretty much put them anywhere I want. They're really messed up. Not messed up, but they're dirty. So I need to clean them. But that's it. I'm not even going to go any further. I'm not going to do the same unwrap on the other side. I've got half of the sword unwrapped, and the only thing I could think of trying to do is maybe mirror this mirror, because if you look at this right here, it's a mirror all the way across. So I could do the same thing. It depends on how it looks and where we're going. For this class, for this opportunity, this is fine. Okay? And that is it. Don't worry about if you shouldn't have these things. This is because I did something else. If you have stuff like that, then you need to figure out why it's there and clean it up. But you can pack them together more if you want, or you can separate them more. It's up to you. But that's all there is to it. And I will see you guys, or see you all tomorrow. And thank you.